Military strikes can't really wipe out a whole country. You see, because armies might destroy buildings, but they don't touch the actual valuable stuff underneath. Tensions keep climbing fast in this region. Massive bombing runs happen constantly. But Iran actually looks stronger on many different things now. Professor Robert Pape says hitting factories isn't enough anymore. It ignores how much domestic politics matters too. Studies show regular folks resisting beats pure army wins every time. People fight back even when logistics lines get cut off. That defiance doesn't fade easily. So Iran figured out a big thing already. Brute military muscle won't beat them ultimately. Western forces are great at taking out visible gear. But Iran hides important parts way underground. Missile stocks and fuel plants stay safe below the dirt. So heavy bombs still can't shut them down completely. They use this trick to cause trouble at sea. And that gives them huge power internationally. Everyone assumed the top bosses face total messiness internally. But that assumption wasn't quite correct. Sure, the government feels spread out sometimes locally. Still, the main leader holds the real deciding power up high. Trying to stir up dissent online barely works anyway. Those comments just feed bigger talks happening somewhere else. Experts warn about a nasty road called the escalation trap. First attacks fail to truly change who runs the place. Then retaliation hits key water channels. Things then head toward possible fighting on land. Past little naval fights are totally behind us now. The world community is stuck at a super important spot. The choice is clear. Either go full steam into ground war, or watch Iran grow strong independently. What everyone thinks is weak about Iran is probably wrong. Instead of falling apart, they hold secret stores of hidden strength. The idea that Iran needed just one last nudge to crash is false. Observers notice smaller alliances breaking apart regionally. This means a giant shakeup in world power is starting near the Strait of Hormuz. Countries relying on Middle Eastern oil feel this hugely. Just price bumps aren't the worst part for them. Total loss of supply, that's a disaster waiting to happen financially. Even places like Japan are looking away from strict support for the US. They mirror the shift Iran wants among Asia's players. Back before the shooting started, things felt balanced in the Gulf. There was a quiet deal forming with some Gulf states joining Israel. High-level talk helped build that careful setup. But that fragile peace broke pretty quick after the first blast landed. The military backup plan looked flimsy somehow. Faraway carrier ships were risky targets. Fixed bases got hit perfectly by drones later on. Most importantly, the supposed safety net from the US vanished fast. Once that anchor went loose, the Allies scattered into separate camps. Some moved farther from American sway. Others edged closer to Iran itself, leaving a few guys hanging out there feeling extra scared. That split seriously hurts America's position greatly. If this stress drags on without fixing anything, walking back soon could give Iran tons of inner growth. Plus, they deepen bonds with countries like Russia and China. Proof shows this teamwork is speeding up nicely. Moscow gave useful target info early on, showing they coordinate well against fancy equipment close by. With this team getting tighter, Iran controls 20% of global oil. Combined with Russia's share, this hints at future market disruptions. Huge amounts of oil could vanish from trade, suddenly causing wild money troubles. On sending troops, and analysts look closely at transport routes. Using Pakistan roads seems tough since they favor Iran currently. Afghanistan routes aren't practical either right now. Azerbaijan seemed nervous about jumping in fully early on. If fighting starts near the Strait of Hormuz coastline, it's brutal terrain. Calling the shore area like dead space captures the assault problem. Big landings need special tools, like the Osprey hybrid craft. These let teams drop onto fought areas incredibly fast. Getting firm spots on land takes serious effort. You gotta capture rich oil fields deep in southwest Iran eventually. Talk of wiping out a whole culture sounds scary. It mixes crazy speeches with harsh world truths. Leaders saying those awful things carry instant belief today. Certain missiles deploy again super fast, making warnings feel deadly real. He said, "This is the clearest statement of wanting destruction ever made by a US boss." This fear actually locks Iranians together tightly. Instead of splitting, the crowd backs their current rulers harder. Democracy supporters get caught in a terrible bind. Facing death threats from men holding weapons, they must pick sides. Pick outside bullies or stick with their home government. This pushes Iran faster to make its own nukes. Thinking about the lives of 90 million people brings the focus low. Focusing on broken utilities showed a bad outcome possibility clearly. Shutting down power stations removes key nodes nationally. Without lights, basic care stops working almost immediately. Food spoils fast, leading straight to sickness and lower lifespans. Also, the fighting itself changes how locals feel about outsiders helping. Troops getting hurt usually doesn't mean masses want to quit. Nope, it builds tougher determination in voters asking for finishing the job. Entering combat means a long drawn-out affair planned for months, maybe longer. Ahead, the fork is sharp indeed. Accept expensive ground wars, or watch Iran rise as a major new global player. Expecting easy surrender from a proud nation is just wishing. No country ever hands over its main power freely. Iran certainly wouldn't give up its gaining clout anytime soon. Ceasefire breaks stem from old promises made in talks. Since leaders hope for favors regarding Iran's climb, Tehran pushed back strongly. Assuming Iran quits becoming a superpower is naive dreaming. Their ambition lets them dictate the game in the Middle East. Old views saw America alone reigning supreme, with lots of guns. Now the map shows power shared among three giants. The US, China, and Russia form the new pillars of global control. Post-Cold War meant solo American rule once. Recent times show earth-shaking movement changing everything. China's jump in skill is a huge speed boost to the scene. Add Iran as a third heavyweight changes the math completely. Especially when talking about energy sources matter. Generations measured worth by GDP or gun count mostly. Modern power depends on production linked tight to goods like oil. Cutting off steady oil flow crashes economies in weeks flat. That dwarfs slow issues like missing computer chips. Even if the US doesn't depend only on the Strait of Hormuz, the price affects everyone. Oil acts like blood pumping through the world economy. Disruptions spike inflation, raising debt payment costs wildly. For the US, paying billions in loans needs rough budget trims badly. Potentially cutting help for needy communities comes into play. Analysts predict a bumpy ride going forward. Right now, the US slightly leads China plus Russia combined. But that difference shrinks fast over the next few years. Throw Iran into that mix and the whole system gets massively challenged. If talks die, Iran sets itself up as the Gulf's oil kingpin. Developing nuclear shields protects them fiercely. Worse, there's the shadow of Iran and Russia coordinating pressure, aimed right at cracking the American wallet if Washington refuses terms. Navigating this hazard needs finding good levers of influence. A better route means giving honest security promises up front. Guaranteeing limits on enemies paired with laws punishing attacks offers good trading cards. Nuclear checks complicate things immensely too. Maybe letting Iran inspect more if they agree to other trades happens. Balancing these tricky materials needs group work involved. Really, the biggest block is just political laziness remaining. Folks are stuck between prepping for war and messy high-stakes chats. Millions just want payback more than owning a bomb. Demand for ground invasion is likely to heat up further. Some dream of rivals turned to dust, forgotten forever by the West. But that picture falls apart, seeing stored uranium piles. Asked about the quickest step, the expert said it includes grabbing the fissile stuff. Defending ocean entry points also counts in this race. These goals alone could eat up many difficult months dealing with stubborn diplomats. Watching unit placements tells you more truth than politician noise. Troop moves show the real clock ticking on what's coming next. This moment screams for a solution, forcing talks whether willing or not. Negotiating stances are shaky if nobody sees a clean escape hatch. Past mistakes on nuclear pacts created unsolvable messes. Halting material spreading needs much more than tiny raids. Looking wider, older treaties strain friendships terribly. NATO itself faces survival tests lately. Its design leans heavily on us commands guiding missions downwards. Global upsets show cracks in that rigid order, showing weakness, not unity. Asking Europe to shoulder burdens strains the reason for defense sharing. When the aim seems to bring big battles ashore, it puts too much askance. Instability goes deeper than just playing games politically. World leaders start sensing fading grip of mighty figures slowly, suggesting endless turmoil instead of calm predictability arriving. Money worries from regional clashes affect moods across continents too. The key message for normal people everywhere is pushing past party divides urgently. Advocating for steady governments able to guide the middle course helps best. Sticking to angry extremes only ensures repeated failures sadly. The expert insisted the common person steers away from this wreck by voting wisely. Ignoring that duty invites constant political spinning endlessly. A deep link exists between stability at home and pain abroad in Iran. Both crowds hate radical ends creeping in around them. This fight echoes global perils building a domestic loop of panic. Changing focus touches lightly on the sad human cost inside Iran, making us pause on the mental burden borne by countless souls afar. Truly free societies need to discuss where they should genuinely head onward. Beyond just slamming critics, active debate about societal proper direction is required. Despite fears of crushing national bills meeting outside shocks from Iran and Russia, past lessons show toughness persists socially. But the present dread trumps what it was just a month ago, proving chances slipped away recently. Delaying action means worse things arrive surely. My summary is this. Armies can't undo a nation's heart treasure. Regular fighters often win over soldier tricks. Iran buries key bits to dodge our planes. Top Iranian chiefs still call the shots decisively. The spiral traps us heading for land fights possibly. Our military edge alone can't conquer Iran. Alliances stopping Tehran are shattering fast. Losing Gulf oil is a killer blow to finances. A shield for friends cracked wide open quickly. Teamwork between Iran and Russia threatens world cash flow. Landing boats checkout profile for podcast summaries.